Sorry, doing some calculating. I couldn't believe. Okay, so we're getting Sarah Marshall, right? Is the next one in our Pick 10 comedy series that we're doing. I'm going to try to finish this weekend and get it all out so I can take a break for a week. For next week, take a break from recording videos. You'll still get some uploaded if there's any trailer reactions that come out. But I'm going to take a break next week after I can hopefully finish all these this weekend. Hopefully. Because then you're still not going to get any videos the next week after that because I'm going to start recording for Halloween Horror Month. So, yeah. But let's talk about Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is a movie that came out back in 2008, I believe, starring Jason Segel, Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell, and Russell Brand. Sorry, forgot his name. And tells the story of Peter, played by Jason Segel, whose girlfriend breaks up with him, so he decides to get away from everything and go to Hawaii, where he ends up bumping into his ex, Sarah Marshall, but also finds Rachel, the character, and tries to, enjoy his life without Sarah Marshall, even though she's always there at every corner on this island, and he decides to try to have good times with Rachel, and yeah. So, I like this movie, man. I really enjoy watching it this time. I bought this for no reason other than I just wanted to have it, and then it's the first time I watched it since I bought it. I've seen it before. I watched it around when it first came out. But this movie is... I watched the unrated version, not that I could tell any difference. I'm assuming the part where you see Peter's Peter is just for the unrated version. I don't know. I've never... But... yeah. And I think that Jason Segel is actually pretty good. I like him in How I Met Your Mother. He's always good at playing those schmucky type guys, even though there's technically two schmucky guys. He had a girlfriend on that show, and Ted was the schmuck. But he's good at playing those kind of schmuck type characters, and he's great in this. And you have Kristen Bell, who's great in this role, but she's like the overbearing girlfriend. Like, they show flashbacks, and she's the demanding, overbearing girlfriend. And like, she does have a point towards the end of this when they had the argument about why they broke up, about how he was lazy, didn't do anything. There's a whole week where he wore sweatpants, which I don't get why that big deal, but again, no motivation. He just stayed inside and all that stuff. That's why she broke up with him. But she's there. They present this singer, Aldous Snow, who, by the way, is a star of Get Him to the Greek with Jonah Hill, who's in this, but he's not playing the same character. Okay, so we're going to have to keep track of these, like, similar actors. So, he's not in it. So, keep Paul Rudd and Jonah Hill in the back of your head, because I'm pretty sure they're going to show up again. Well, at least Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, keep them in your minds, although they're going to show up again. And Bill Hader will probably show up again at some point. Bill Hader actually is already down. I should keep track. Okay, so we have Bill Hader. With 2 appearances already, okay? We got Jason Segel and Paul Rudd, who we know will appear in other films. So that's 1 apiece right now. I don't think either of them are in Pineapple Express. And I don't think there's anybody else from there that are in this. Keep that in mind. We're going to keep track of the recurring things. I don't think we'll go too much into it, but a couple of them at least here. But, yeah. So Jonah Hill is in this, but he's playing Matthew, or his name is Aaron, I think you get into the Greek. I haven't watched all the way through. I've seen part of it on like Comedy Central or something, but I've never seen it all the way through. But yeah, Aldous Snow was sort of a side character in this. And he's actually pretty good in this. And actually, if you watched his stand-up, Russell Brand live from New York, he talks about his experience on here. He said that he gave him surfing lessons and horse riding lessons, and he's like that he did surfing lessons. And you notice, you may be asking, Russell, why did they give you surfing lessons if you did not surf in the film? Well, it's because he's so bad at surfing, they wrote it out of the film. And then he said later, Russell, you might be asking Russell, why did they give you horse riding lessons if you don't do horse riding in the film? Because I'm so bad at horse riding, they took it out of the film. Which, I rode a horse, and the only problem I had is that the horse stopped to keep eating stuff. That's it. But, yeah, it was a weird horse. Just kept stopping to eat. It's like, come on! Yeah. Come on, let's go. You know? But, I digress. But yeah, so it's nice to talk, hear personal stories about it. And I do think that there's chemistry within this cast, but I think Mila Kunis has better chemistry with Jason Segel than Kristen Bell has with Jason Segel, because I just think, they're supposed to not be, but I don't know. One thing I don't like, though, is the Jack McBrayer subplot. Jack McBrayer, 30 Rock, and what have you. He's in this with the redhead chick from Accepted as a newly married couple. And they have a subplot where he can't have... It's one of those things where they're abstinent till marriage, so neither one of them know how to have sex, and so they're doing it wrong or something. And he's trying to get it, but it's hurting her. He's not like doing it right or something. So he has to get lessons, and there's this scene, which I did think was kind of funny, where Aldous is trying to talk him how to have sex, and they have these giant chess pieces, and they're like spooning with the chess pieces, and he's trying to teach him how to do it. And then like the next scene later, it shows that he's actually doing, But I didn't really particularly care for it, because it was like, okay, I'm trying to follow what Peter's doing, and we gotta follow the subplot with him. He's not a bad character. Like, he's there, he's, talking to him. It's like, I don't know. It just... when I first saw it, I thought the subplot was gonna be that he's gay, and that's why he can't get it up. But that's not the case at all. It's just... Maybe it's just the way Jack McBrayer talks, no offense. But yeah. And it's, this is, I don't know how to say this, but like, Hawaii, beautiful. I think they were actually in Hawaii, I think. From what I can tell from Russell's stand-up, they were actually in Hawaii, and it looks beautiful. But it is the typical romantic comedy raunchy edition, where you have, it's the basic plot line where he's, she breaks up with him, and he decides, after wallowing in self-pity for a long time, I'm gonna go get away from it all. And wouldn't you know it, like, she's everywhere. She's like, there's a thing on the plane with her about like the safety or whatever, and then they play her show that she's on, and then he gets to the hotel and she's there, and it's like, can't get away from her. And at first she's like, maybe this is a sign, but then he sees she's with Aldous Snow, the guy whose song he was just listening to earlier in the film. So it's like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? And yeah, but he has that connection with Rachel that progresses throughout the film, and she's, one of those, she had a boyfriend, it didn't work out, and she sort of retreated into her own. She's got her own problems, just like Peter does, and she's retreated into her own little thing. She works at this hotel. She hasn't left since she got there, and she's in her, she's in her safety place. But through her relationship with Peter, she finally is able to get out. Because by the end, she's like, "Oh, I've been looking up schools around here and trying to get, back into that program and everything." Yeah. Didn't need another naked shot of him, but I guess. And then I gotta talk about the Dracula musical. It's getting kind of hard to believe things are going to get better. He actually performed this on the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson on the 1000th episode of that show, and he actually performed it. And I think that version was better because this one is like shorter, a little more bleaker. But I like the one that he did on the Late Late Show, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it was. I like the Dracula thing. Sorry, and a yawn I was trying to keep in. But yeah, and they do the whole, like I said, it's where they're trying to go their separate ways, but he's having the time of his life with Rachel now, but she now sees him that he's actually a really good person, and she misses him, and then she looks at all this and she can't, whatnot, and she pines for Peter. All this is right there, and I don't know, a Mandela effect of some sort. Like, I remembered where there's like, they're like serving him the cocktails or whatever, and it's supposed to be just fruit juice or whatever. I thought it was gonna lead into the fact it was alcohol, but it never goes there. So I don't know, because he's, no alcohol because he was an addict, so that sort of thing. But I don't know, doesn't go there. But then they take the traditional route where, like, she's like, "I'm gonna get back together with you," and he at first doesn't, but then does, sort of, but he can't get it up, and he realizes he doesn't like her anymore. And then he goes and tells. See, this is like the most unnecessary part. He goes and he tells Rachel what happened, and she gets pissed, but nothing happened. Well, she do a little sucky, but didn't really go anywhere. Like 2 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. She went down once. She's like, what's going on? He's like, hold on, let me try again. She did, but nothing. Like, barely anything happened. And she even said that there was nothing between it. They did have sex the night before, but still. I don't know. Yeah, that's part. Maybe not. But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like he needed, like, would there be guilt from that? Like, maybe they didn't need to go that far, like her going down on him. Maybe, like, they start to do stuff, but then he stops because he can't get it up, and he realizes why he can't get it up is because he doesn't love her anymore. And he's moved on. They only do this so that they can have a breakup, and he can go back home, and he has this revelation he's now going to do his musical, and then she comes back. And it's like, there's another subplot with a picture of her top up, her tits out, which I don't know if it's real or not. It's probably Photoshop, but because I doubt they said, "Hey, we want to do this in the film. Can you lift your top up and take a picture?" I'm pretty sure it was Photoshop, but she says earlier in the film that she tried to get the guy that owns the bar to take it down, and he won't do it. So Peter goes and takes it down and gets into a fight with him, and he gives her the picture back. And that kind of leads into later. He sends her an invitation to his Dracula puppet play, and then she shows up, and they end up getting back together. And that's the only reason why he has to tell her what happened, or why they even have it go that far, is so that he can have the guilt and tell her, and they can break apart, and then get back together at the end. And it's really not necessary because he already sort of went through a breakup. He already went through a breakup earlier, like the whole meaning of the movie. You really need to do it again. I don't know, but this is a good movie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I even like the music in it. It's like even the score, But like, and there's another thing where like Kristen Bell, Sarah Marshall, she's on this show Crime Scene, Scene of the Crime. And it had the stupidest fucking name for a TV show. It's supposed to be a CSI knockoff, but Crime Scene, Scene of the Crime, it's the same thing! You're basically saying the same title twice. I know it's a play on, like, show spin-offs with weird names, but Crime Scene, Scene of the Crime, the same thing. She's starring on it with Billy Baldwin, who plays himself, I guess, in the movie, and then on the show he's some other character. But that show, like, lingers around, and then we find out that they canceled the show, right? Then at the end, she's on another show where she's a pet psychic, and it's called Animal Instincts. And if I remember correctly, by the time they get to Get Me to the Greek, she's on a different show. And here's another thing. I'm gonna have to watch Get Me to the Greek, because I'm gonna have to buy it or something. By that film, isn't he all this back on drugs again? I swear. It's one of the reasons why I'm having a hard time getting it. I don't know, but as it stands, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it's pretty good. So, let's do this. Okay, get the dice out. A little baggie here. And hard to believe things are going to get better. Alright. Switch up. Alright. Ready? Move that out of the way. 4. So we have 4. Remember, look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Alright. Alright, so 4. This one. Mies March. This is a very interesting one. I haven't seen this for a long time. I had a friend who was obsessed with this movie. So we watched it all the time. And after we stopped being friends, I haven't watched it. So it'll be interesting. Oh. It was right. Wait, now it's upside down. Hold on. How was it? Was I holding it wrong? Yeah, I was, because it was on this side. And now it's okay, I was holding it wrong. I opened it upside down. No wonder this was upside down. Here we go. Mies March. Again, this was from around the times of everything was getting an unrated cut of something, you know what I mean? But look forward to that. What are your thoughts on my nose itching? Sorry. What are your thoughts on Forgetting Sarah Marshall? I almost said Saving Sarah Marshall. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.